Hi, friends. I am hoping that this live has activated at the time that it is supposed to, but it looks like it has. I am so excited to be back in front of a camera and to be talking to people again. I am definitely just going to wait a few seconds while people start to come on in, but I'm so happy to be here. It has definitely been a while since I was last in front of a camera, but I am happy to be back in front of one and to be making new friends and old friends and to be talking with people that I got to know for the better part of a year back when I was still a regular live streamer. I actually don't know how many people are going to be in this live stream, if anyone's going to be in it, because it's been so long. But in the meantime, I am just going to start to talk about stuff. The main purpose of this particular live stream is to actually talk about my health and plans for the future. So if you're here and you're expecting things to be super lighthearted, they'll be fairly lighthearted. I'm not going to be extremely specific about the health stuff that I had to go through, but my health has definitely been a little bit iffy. If anyone is here and wants to say hello, I'd love to see comments in the thing. But until then, I am definitely going to just start by talking about the fact that my health super not great. It's actually okay-ish. I've reached a point of stability as far as health stuff goes, so I'm not in any super immediate danger or anything like that. But that doesn't mean that things are easy. They really aren't. My health fluctuates, and there are definitely days where I really can't do all that much, which is part of the reason why I wanted to get back into live streaming and back to talking with friends and stuff, because I would like to make a living as a content creator. And that is something that would provide me with a little bit more stability and safety than any of the current jobs that I'm doing. I'm also going to be talking about my current employment status. I do technically have a job at the moment, but just the very nature of the job that I'm doing keeps me from working quite as often as I would regularly like. I have a tweet scheduled to go out in a few seconds, so I'm hoping that when that goes out, some more friends will join us. I'm also testing this time as a live streaming time because it's been so long since I've live streamed that I am honestly not sure when the best times to do it are. I don't know how people's schedules look. I don't know when people could actually show up. I also don't know when people would be able to collaborate because I'd love to live stream with friends and to actually be joined by folks so that way I can create content where it's not just me talking to a potentially empty chat room or anything like that, where it's just a little bit easier and a little bit more natural to keep the conversation flowing. But for anyone who is watching this, whether it's now or later on, who doesn't know me all that well, um, those of you who are here know my name, but what you may not know is that I'm actually physically disabled. I've been physically disabled to differing degrees throughout most of my adult life. Even before I went to college, I had a little bit of a bad knee. But when I was in college and right before I went to college, I had a number of unfortunate accidents that sometimes made it a little bit of a tricky thing for me to walk. And then in early 2021, I was in a car crash that really devastated my ability to walk. It was something that actually left me very unfortunately and very decidedly disabled to the point where there are entire days where I very actively need a mobility aid to even stand up. And because of that, working has always been a little bit tricky. Fortunately, this happened right around the pandemic. And because this happened right around the pandemic, it was a little bit easier and a little bit more normal for people to be working from home. Um, Something that not everyone will readily say is that one of the nice things about the pandemic is that working from home was normalized. And there are a wide range of people who very strongly benefit from working from home. I'm one of them as someone who is disabled. But even before then, I had been doing bits and pieces of remote work. I was a content creator and a writer before the pandemic happened. So I was definitely doing stuff at home and I was getting invited to come and speak to conferences and all that stuff. And it does look like a handful more people are coming in. I'm so excited to see you. If you are new in the chat, whether you're someone I've talked to regularly or you're someone that I've talked to all the time in the past, I'm so happy to see you. I hope that you're having a great day. But in December, I was rushed to the emergency room by my partner, who was incredibly helpful. And I honestly don't know what my life would be like without her. So I'm so happy that she is here. She's currently in the background, chilling, just relaxing. But yeah, in December, I was rushed to the emergency room because I had started to bleed and it was actually pretty significantly bad. It was dangerous enough that both of us were scared, and especially because I shouldn't be bleeding at all from any part of my body. So the fact that that was the thing that happened was terrifying to us. We were in the emergency room for, I want to say, like 3-ish hours, and then we were discharged. What was going on was fairly simple for them to fix. I got a little bit of medication and I was discharged. This was right around Christmas time. But it was significant enough that for the next couple of days, there wasn't really that much I could do. So I actually had to reschedule a handful of speaking events that I had scheduled for right around Christmas time. They ended up happening in very early December. Both of them were well attended. It was a lot of fun. I really love speaking to people. But all of that left me with a hospital bill and then another hospital bill that arrived all of a sudden in April, because it turns out the doctor that was helping us was, I guess, just on loan. It was really weird. So I had to pay off 2 hospital bills. Fortunately, at the time, I had just started working for a company called Measurement Incorporated that I've been working for on and off for a couple of years. They'll give me a couple of contracts a year where I'll just sit down and I'll grade standardized exams. I could do that from home, and that's something that I've always really liked doing. Unfortunately, with that, they're only active during certain parts of the year. I was working up until the very beginning of July, and then in the first like 2 weeks of July, that was the end of a contract. That was my second contract in a row. And right now, I am currently in the very fun unemployment space. So right now, my income is very decidedly a big old goose egg. It is not a fun thing to look at. And if that is something that you are sympathetic towards and you would like to support me in any particular way, there's a handful of links in the description that will enable you to do that. Um, that is something that is incredibly helpful because at the moment I cannot get any food. Otherwise, if I do, I will not be able to pay off my hospital bill, which is due a week from today. And that is the reality of living in poverty. It is something that is incredibly frustrating. And anyone here who has been in poverty, whether you're here watching the live stream right now, or you're someone who is just going to watch this as like a long form video, I'm sure you felt that. The very destructive and very frustrating feeling of having to choose between doing something like ordering food or being able to pay off your bills. And it's something that regularly affects me. And it's especially bad because I'm disabled. So cooking really just isn't an option for me. Cooking doesn't sound like a very challenging thing to do, but when you're in pain just standing up, all of a sudden you can see how if you want to cook a meal that takes 15 minutes, you're effectively being forced to choose between 15 minutes pain free and no food, or forcing yourself to do something that is incredibly physically uncomfortable for 15 minutes just to get a very small meal. And that is very often choices that I have to make because every single time I choose to stand, I experience pain. I think it's incredibly frustrating, and I know it's not a super fun thing to hear. It's not very lighthearted, but that is the reality of living as someone with the type of physical disability that I have. It's true that I can stand and it's true that I can walk around, but anytime I do, I'm forcing myself to be in pain. I'm forcing myself to try and just bite my lips and just sort of grit my teeth and work through something. And it's pretty easy to just think that that might not be that big of a deal. But with a disability like mine, where it's your legs, it's your knees that it's affecting, every single movement causes you to feel pain. And if that doesn't sound like that big of a deal, I can assure you that it is. I think it's really frustrating that if I decide to do something like go to the bathroom or go to the kitchen, I'm going to have to be cognizant of the fact that that's going to hurt. And if I ever try to forget it, like when I first wake up, my body reminds me the second I try to adjust how I'm sleeping. That's life with like a physical disability. And the thing is, my physical disability could potentially be lessened in intensity if I have healthcare, if I can afford to go to physical therapy. And that is something that's not extraordinarily expensive, but I have to have insurance, which is part of the reason why I am going to be trying to create content and get to the point where I can actually make money off of YouTube, off of Twitch. I'm not fully sure of the different ways that I plan to do that just yet, but I already have a Twitch audience, I already have a YouTube audience, and there's people who know me, who know the sorts of things that I create, who like the sorts of things that I create. And I would very much like to, before the end of next year, be at a point where I can afford my own health insurance, where I have an audience, where I can work from home and I can create content. Um, and I think that that would be really, really cool. I'm actually going to try to do something. I'm going to try to see if I can have my chat pulled up because I don't know if anyone is watching. I don't think anyone is, but that's fine. I'm most trying to get to the point where I can see if anyone decides to comment in the live stream. So that way I could be nice and safe. I don't want to miss any comments, whether they're made now or later. But it is very fascinating to have an audience where I'm already part of the way towards my ultimate end goal, which is true. I am definitely having 500 subscribers on YouTube and having a few dozen subscribers over on Twitch means that it's not outside of the realm of possibility that if I grind and work at it, I might someday actually be able to hit this goal. I think that this goal is something that's not easy, but I definitely think it's achievable. And I'm very excited to have a concrete objective to work towards because I would like to hit the point where I don't have to be doing things like hoping that people can afford to throw some dollars my way to help me pay off my doctor's bill, which is what I'm forced to do right now, or where my ability to pay my rent is dependent on someone both liking the things that I create enough and also having sympathy towards me enough that they can afford to throw me some money. It is something that's frustrating and it's often humiliating. And it's not a bad thing to ask for help, even if you need it consistently, but that doesn't make it any easier to do. So I am hoping that I'm going to be able to work towards the sort of independence that I would like, where I could relax, where not every single day is something where it's like, man, I really hope that I make some money today, because that's often what it's like right now. I often hope that organizations that I've written for in the past reach out to me and they're like, hey, we'd love for you to write an article on this or this, or we'd like for you to participate in this research study, which was a thing that happened to me earlier today. Someone very kind from a university reached out. I had a very lovely conversation with someone who wanted to chat with content creators who do religion and atheism and humanism and secular humanism. And I had a really rad chat with a university professor. I genuinely really liked it because I actually really like talking to people. Talking to people is genuinely one of my favorite things to do, which is kind of funny, all things considered. But I love creating content and having the space where I can chat with friends, where I can just sort of do stuff and where I can just sort of hang out. And I'm really hoping that I get the chance to do more of that in the future. I definitely think that my goal from this point on is going to be to work to make sure that I can someday have a sustainable audience where I can be on websites like YouTube and Instagram and Twitch, and I can just make money just from talking to people and helping people think about things a little bit differently. It was actually a very interesting chat that I had with this professor today because they asked me lots of very interesting questions about my thoughts on content creation and demographics and all this kind of stuff. And it was really neat to have a chance before this conversation, which was planned a little bit in advance of the interview. Fully had plans to do the live stream today, even before the professor reached out to me. But it was so much fun to have an opportunity to like really think about it and to actually just sort of like outline what I would like to do. Because I really liked back in the past when I worked with other content creators like Wonder Lady, who I worked with for almost a year, where every Thursday we would get together and we would talk about like news topics and stuff. That was genuinely a lot of fun. And it was really neat to chat with an audience and to get the perspectives and also to share our own perspectives on topics. And I'm hoping to get back into that. I'm hoping that in the future I'll be able to educate people and talk about a wide range of fascinating topics and to really just have an opportunity to be able to talk about stuff, whether it's aliens or it's political news, and to really learn from other people and also hopefully to teach other people as well. I really like the idea that my community is a place where people know that they're going to be able to have a safe conversation about almost anything, whether it is religious news or political news or history. I've very much enjoyed the content that I've created, whether it is traditional videos like the one where I took a nap for, I think it was something like 4 months. And then when I came back, the world was just sort of on fire, or the skit where I was both homophobic and also a psychologist trying to help myself understand why I was being homophobic. I've really enjoyed the content that I've created. And I really wish that I could create more content, a wider range of content. Right now, I don't think it's going to be possible for me to create traditional pre recorded videos and upload them, at least not unless the editing is incredibly minimal. Because at the moment, I don't have the software that I used to have, and I would have to do just a lot of different energy kind of things. So if I wanted to create a video like I used to, it would have to be incredibly low key and very basic. And I don't think it's really, I don't want to do that. I could see myself doing it if it's an important enough topic, but I would much rather do live streams where even if I am talking to an empty audience, I'm still vibing and hanging out. Hey, Adam, I'm very happy someone could make it. It's very nice to be back in front of a camera, and while being in a live stream is a very different experience from being in an interview, I'm just happy to be here and to be chatting with people again. I know that I'm probably going to be getting comments and stuff, so I'm not actually worried about this doing numbers or anything like that. Although I hope that I'm able to get like a few more folks in here before the end. I wasn't planning for this to be like a super long live stream, but the fact that I've talked for 17 minutes, pretty much nonstop, is both very exciting and also very taxing. I have acid reflux, and sometimes my acid reflux is intense enough that it makes it a little bit hard to talk. Also, hey, Jenna, I see you. I definitely don't want you to feel left out. I'm happy that people are here and we're able to hang out together. I've missed live streaming. It's just that like live streaming is, in a lot of ways, it's more daunting than doing traditional videos where I like record things in advance, because in a live stream there's always the possibility that you're just going to be talking to yourself for a little bit, especially if you don't have an especially large audience, and especially if you are not a super regular live streamer like I am, because I know that it's been, God, it's definitely been the better part of a year, if it hasn't been a year since my last live stream. But I'm 100% planning to get back into live streaming. And being back in front of a camera is very energizing, even if it's also a little bit scary. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that it's not scary to be in front of a camera and to be talking and to just be kind of hoping that like someone joins you. But even if no one had joined me, I'm very happy that I was here, that I was chatting just to the empty space of my room. I actually don't know if y'all could see my hand movements just now, but you probably could. Um, and it's just nice to be creating content again where people will be able to know what's going on and people will be able to understand, like, hey, here's why Luciano went missing for a little bit. I wasn't actually missing. I was still writing and I was still on Twitter and stuff. But like some of the people who follow me on YouTube only follow me on YouTube. So it's entirely possible that there are people who are just like, man, where'd this person go? It sure has been a while since they uploaded literally anything. But yeah, I know that it's been a scary time in the world for so many reasons since I last created any sort of traditional content. But I've been out here, I've been doing things, I've been working, and it hasn't always been easy. It hasn't always been easy to watch the world. There have been lots of times when I wanted to share my opinions and my insights, but the fact of the matter is, I was always worried about my health. In December, what happened was genuinely really, really scary. Medically, it wasn't anything super complicated, but it's something where I'm still taking medicine for it. It's like a long-term thing, and it's not super fun to have to go to the hospital and to be reminded of just how fragile the human body is, especially when you already know that the human body is a very fragile thing, because your body is so fragile. Um, yeah, it's been a heck of an experience, and yeah. But that said, I am fully planning to be creating content again. I am going to be back on YouTube. I am going to be on the hunt for more subscribers. And I'm really hoping that in the days and months to come, I'm able to cultivate my audience. I'm hoping that I'm able to reach out to people, both new and old, who would want to collaborate, who'd want to come on and do live streams with me, because I really enjoy talking to people. I'd love to have friends on my live streams and for us to share our different thoughts and opinions on all sorts of stuff happening all over the world. I do think that I'm going to keep this. I do think that I'm going to keep this live stream a strict 30 minutes, just because 30 minutes is nice. It's not too bad. It's not a great amount of time. It's also not a bad amount of time. And also, I can definitely feel it in my throat. In the future, I'm going to be focusing probably on doing live streams by myself for a little bit, but I am absolutely planning to have folks on, not necessarily to do podcast style interviews or whatever, although I think that could be fun. But just to learn from people in my community and to help teach people in my community, because we have a nice little YouTube family over here. There's 500 folks, people from all over the world, people who are a wide range of different political and religious views. I think it'd be really cool for us to just sort of hang out and learn together, because there's lots of different stuff we could teach each other. I'd love to talk to folks about peace and conflict studies again. I am fully planning to do that, although I have no idea when in the week I'm going to be doing that, or even how many times a month I'm going to be doing it. But I am planning to talk about communication and history, and also to get back to Twitch. I Now the Twitch stuff is going to be very interesting, because at the moment, I don't think that any of the technology that I have that I use regularly is super suitable for Twitch. So it's going to be very interesting. Hey, we hit 3 people all at once. That's neat. Um, I definitely think that it's going to be interesting trying to get back onto Twitch and trying to find good video games that are low key enough that my computer can both play and stream them at the same time. But I really want to get back onto Twitch. I want to be streaming on Twitch. I decided to do YouTube first because YouTube feels less intensive, and YouTube also feels chiller to me when I'm doing live streams. I get a little bit antsy when I am doing Twitch live streams. So I definitely didn't want to be doing that for my first live stream on my stuff in something like a year. I know that I did one live stream in October last year, so I'm thinking it's been probably 10 months since then, maybe even 10 months, a little bit to the day. Um, so it's been a while. Uh, Thank you, Adam. I definitely appreciate the encouragement. Hey, three is more than zero. But yeah, it's been a little bit scary trying to come back to this after I went so long without it. There were definitely lots of times when I really wanted to live stream and I just couldn't bring myself to do it because of nerves or anxiety. One of the simplest techniques I've found for me to be able to live stream is I have to say it. Like once I've said it, I want to do it. If I'm on Twitter or something and I say that I want to do a live stream, that makes it like that much more concrete because then people are expecting me to do it. Not It's not even that people will be disappointed. It's just that like once I put that out there, it's a lot easier for me to make myself do it because between my acid reflux making it hard for me to talk for long periods of time and also just the generalized anxiety that I always feel at even the thought of live streaming, I always get like very incentivized by my body to not do a live stream. And then when I'm actually doing it, I'm having a lot of fun, even like right now when things are really chill. And the largest audience we've had is 3 people in 1 second. It's so nice to be here and to actually be 4 people. That's exciting. I guess 6:30 is probably just a bad time for me to be doing these live streams. That might be the takeaway that I've had from this. If I want to do a live stream, it might be better for me to do it closer to it'd probably be better for me to do it closer to 7. That makes sense. I'm not deeply surprised that that's the case. Given that there's like actual people in the audience now, I will do like a very brief recap. I am planning to get back into live streaming, and one of the big reasons I'm planning to get back into live streaming is that my health is very. Listen, Adam, I can't help that you live in Poland. One of the reasons one of the reasons I've decided to get back into streaming is that streaming is a sort of job that I could do that would be very good for my health. For those of you who don't know, I am physically disabled, and in addition to that, I have acid reflux, and I also have another health condition, which was what sent me to the hospital in December. And all of those things coupled together make it difficult for me to do a regular in-person job, and lots of remote jobs don't give insurance. Lots of remote jobs, man, I can't believe that all of a sudden now that it's like closer to 7, like so many people came in all at once. I'm so excited y'all are here. It's just kind of surprising. Um, but because of the health conditions that affect me, it is difficult for me to find a job that gives me health insurance. It is difficult for me to find a job that I could, it's even harder when it's a job that I like really want to do or a job that like I could see myself doing long term. So I definitely think that streaming and making money off of streaming and creating content is probably the best long-term goal for me to have if I am prioritizing my own health, which I definitely need to do. And I've gotten incredibly lucky that I have supportive friends and family who've been able to help me. And there's actually nothing wrong with asking for help online, which is often what I do when I need it. But the fact of the matter is that that's not sustainable. I want to have financial independence. I want to be safe. I want to have a job that excites me. And something that does all of those things is streaming, at least once a streamer has enough of an audience. Um, I Zal, I wish that you were correct because like I'm writing stories all the time and getting money off of writing stories is difficult unless I'm willing to do something like write for web novel where I'd have to write every single day for a month in order to have a guaranteed income, which is definitely not impossible, but it's absolutely taxing. Um, hey, Jessica. But ultimately, what I really want to do is I want to have a job where I can do the things that I really like, which is stuff like talking to people, educating people, playing video games with my friends, creating the sort of content that I want to create. And the key for me personally to be able to do that is for me to become a independent entrepreneur live streamer person. I know that lots of people hate that word entrepreneur right now, but that is what live streamers are. If you make money off of Twitch or YouTube and that is your source, that is like your primary source of income, you are someone who sets your own hours, you effectively run your own business, And that has got to be my goal. And for me to do that, what that will take is becoming a content creator. Now, that has a lot of different meanings. It definitely means stuff. It definitely means different stuff to different people. And for me, what it means is continuing to do my writing, writing my articles, writing my stories, but also doing live streaming and creating videos. I definitely think it's possible. I mentioned this before, but my audience is not 0 people, as y'all can see. I have over 500 subscribers, which is half of the subscribers that YouTubers need in order to be able to apply to become something like this. Uh, I'm reading comments, so if you ever see me pause, that is what I am doing. Um, and I'm so happy that lots of different friends are coming on. I've absolutely learned that 7 is the time that I need to be streaming. I was planning to keep this a strict 30 minutes, but since people started to hop in at the last minute, yeah. In order for me to become a live streaming and otherwise content creating kind of person who can make a living, I am going to be live streaming regularly. My initial goal is going to be to live stream probably twice a week, but I am counting Twitch and YouTube for that. I'm not saying live stream twice a week on both Twitch and YouTube. And I am planning to get back into Twitch, but Twitch is a whole different beast, even though I am technically closer to being able to make money off of Twitch than I am off of YouTube. Part of the reason I'm a little bit nervous about going back into Twitch is that on YouTube, I think it'd be fine for me to create a live stream like this where I'm just chatting with the audience, and I think that'd be super easy. But on Twitch, I don't feel like it'd be quite as easy, or at least I don't feel like quite as many people would want to come on. Whereas on YouTube, my audience knows me as someone who does live streams like this, where I'm just chatting with people. So I would definitely love to incorporate Twitch, and I fully plan to incorporate Twitch. It's just that, like, for right now, I think that that is something that I'm not going to immediately prioritize. Um, and yeah, I know that like Twitch, it's definitely an intimidating beast. I feel like it'd probably be easier for me personally to make money off of Twitch than it would be for me to make money off of YouTube. But at least on YouTube, I have an audience, and I know that once I get the hours right, so not 6:30 on a Friday, 6:30 Eastern time. I don't know what time it is over in other people's time zones. But yeah. I'm loving the comments that I'm seeing. I'm The reason I said some random geek, the reason I said that it'd be technically easier for me to hit affiliate on Twitch is because I'm much closer to that, especially once I've actually started live streaming again. I'm over half of the way to the number of followers that I need. And I think that once I hit the 50 followers, it will be easier. It's just that for right now, I want to get back into live streaming before I start trying to do something like playing video games on a live stream. I fully plan to do something like react to videos on live streams. So it isn't just going to be me talking to a camera like this in the future. It's just that this was my first live stream back, and I wanted to try to see what it even feel like to actually be in front of a like camera and talking again, especially because this is me in front of a camera, not actually by myself. There is someone else in the room with me. It's just that like I'm talking to a computer. So yeah. And some random geek, hey, that's my situation. I am also disabled and I can do some regular work. I mentioned that I work for Measurements Incorporated, and what I do for Measurements Incorporated is I grade standardized exams that like Scantrons would not be able to grade. So like if someone writes down their answers for a standardized exam, the Scantron can't grade that, but I could. And that is really good work, and I love the pay that they give me. The problem with it is that it's not year round. If that was year round, I would absolutely love to do that year round because that pay is like $15 an hour. I just finished 2 contracts in a row with them, but because of the way that they get their work is I get a couple of contracts a year, and those contracts will last for a couple of weeks. And it's so nice to see a lively chat room. But yeah, and thankfully, because of my friends and my family, I have been able to skirt by on help. But like right now, I can't even order food. So like right now, that is how bad my my current economic situation is now that I'm out of work. If I order anything in the next couple of days, I will not be able to pay off the next installment in my hospital bill. And that is really frustrating because I did go to the hospital room in December. I went to the emergency room and it was great. They were very incredibly professional. They were really nice. They were really efficient. They comforted me through my fears. And then a couple of days later, I got a hospital bill that was over $2,000 and no one did any tests on me. It wasn't like I went to I did not notice the KFC. I did not notice the KFC cup in the background. But it's okay. It's okay, Mage. I know who you are. I just don't know if you want me to say your name on stream. But it happens. I'm just happy that people are here now and that we're all able to hang out. But yeah, when I went to the hospital room in December, I was like a nurse took my blood. And then a little bit later, the doctor saw where I was bleeding from and gave me medicine. And it was like, you will be fine. You'll be okay. Just take the medicine and go. And that was over $2,000. And then a couple of months later, I got a separate hospital bill that was over $400 because the hospital that I went to was renting the doctor that spoke to me. So it's incredibly frustrating. Like when I say that I need help, I know that it may sound frustrating to people who've known me for a while, but like I'm being so incredibly serious. Right now, if I order out, that is me deciding to just not be able to pay my hospital bill. And that's the consequence that I had for going to the hospital as an uninsured person. And that's one of the reasons why I want to get back into live streaming. I want to be able to afford health insurance. I want to be able to, if I like cut myself or if I fall and if I feel like a bone move, I want to be able to have the option to go to a doctor, even if I elect not to. So that's the sort of situation that I'm in. But because I'm already part of the way to having the necessary audiences and the necessary metrics on YouTube and on Twitch, I've decided that the thing that I'm going to be doing is I'm going to work to become a professional content creator. And in the future, I am going to be doing regular. Ignore the big water bottle that you guys just saw in the background. Um, I'm going to be working to become a professional content creator in whatever capacity I can. I'm going to be doing writing. I'm going to be going on interviews and stuff. And fortunately, because of my audience and the like things that I've already worked towards, it's not like I'm starting from zero, which is part of the reason I think it's even a possibility. If I had to start from zero, it would have been impossible. There is no possible way that I could have been able to realistically say, hey, this is the thing that I'm going to be doing. But I'm going to be reaching out to friends who are other content creators. I'm going to be trying to join in other live streams and other things when I can. So that way people can get to know me and can decide to come and follow me on my own content. And I'm also going to be doing like individual streams. So I'm going to be doing responding to videos and stuff. So basically, what I'm saying is Jessica, you're funny. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be getting back on the YouTube grind, which feels like a very goofy thing to say, but for the sake of my own ability to be independent, or at least my desire to become independent in any way, shape, or form, this is what it's going to take. And it kind of sucks that I have to be doing the situation at all. It kind of sucks that because of healthcare, I am kind of fucked financially, but it is what it is. Um, I've missed all the people who were able to. Hey, you guys, remember to stay hydrated. This is not my water bottle. This is Jessica's water bottle. But isn't it rad? I really like this big old thing. Um, but yeah, I'm so excited to be back. I'm so excited to be trying to do YouTube stuff again and to be back in front of people. I'm really hoping that over the course of the next couple of months, more and more people get to see my face and hear my voice and learn about the content that I create. I do have long-term plans to get back into traditional video making. It's just that that's in the future. It's not something that I plan to do immediately, just like I don't plan to immediately get back into just like I don't plan to immediately get back into Twitch streams. But hey, I'm just happy to be here. I'm so happy the friends were able to make it. It's very informative that apparently 6:30 is just not a good time. I honestly was curious if 6:30 was a good time, but the only way I was going to be able to get myself to be in front of a camera and to be doing this was if I just did it. So it's fine. But yeah. Um but yeah. Thanks. I really appreciate that. Some random geek. I will talk to you all later. I'm so happy that we were able to get back together and that things are looking up. It's definitely a very funny looking up, but we're all back, and hopefully, y'all will be seeing much more of me in the next couple of weeks. Bye bye, everybody.